Do you want to see some of my new books? Because I have two of them that I've picked up here and there, and then I have two parcels to open up. Let's start with the ones that are not wrapped. If you watched my Week of the Weird video, you'll know that I recently discovered a new author called Joe Lane. I read his novella The Witnesses Are Gone for that blog, and I really liked his style, so I went back to the bookshop where I found that book and got Scar City, and this is one of his short story collections. Even though I really enjoyed his novella, I just didn't feel ready to commit to a full-length novel, so I thought a collection of shorter works would be really good. It just says that it's one of the final collections he put together before his death in 2013, with his home city of Birmingham as their nucleus, which I guess it's a theme for him. These are intense, haunting, and often painful stories. Sounds pretty good, but we will see. And the next book I picked up at a free little library. It is The Way of the Flesh by Ambrose Parry. And as soon as I read the first part of the description, you'll know why I couldn't resist it. It says, Edinburgh, 1847. Will Raven is a medical student apprenticing for the brilliant and renowned Dr. Simpson. Sarah Fisher is Simpson's housemate and has all of Raven's intelligence but none of his privileges. And then bodies start appearing scattered throughout the city, and Will and Sarah are going to work together to find out who's responsible for these gruesome deaths. It does mention that they go into the darkest shadows of Edinburgh's underworld, so I wonder if there is going to be a supernatural component to it. I don't know. And now let's open these parcels. The first book is so exciting. Well, they both are. But the first one is one of the new paperbacks from Hell, and I think it's the one that was released the most recently, and it is Killer by Peter Tonkin. I think the cover and title are pretty self-explanatory. It is an animal attack featuring killer whales, which are actually not whales, they are a type of dolphin, but I guess that's neither here nor there. And the next book is one that I pre-ordered, I think maybe a year ago, I'm not even joking, but it's finally here, and that is Piñata by Leopoldo Gaut. This is yet another Mexican horror. I feel like Mexican horror is really taking off right now, and I have zero complaints. And I just noticed that this one has a blurb in the back written by the author of my favorite book ever in the whole world, in my whole life, and she says it's a work of art, so you can only imagine how excited I am for these. And I'm pretty sure this is about a Mexican woman who lives in the United States but has to travel back for work, and she takes her daughters with her. And I think either the family becomes haunted and they take something back with them to the US, or maybe even one of the daughters gets possessed. I am not completely sure, but it looks absolutely awesome. Hi, we have some book mail today. I think I already know what's in here and it's super exciting, but first I want to show you a couple of books I picked up in the charity shop, and I'm also excited about this because it's not the kind of book I usually buy, but when I show them to you, you'll see why I couldn't resist. So it's 3 YA horrors. The first one is a booktube darling, and that is Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell. And Amy McCaw had this as her YA book club pick earlier this year, and I really wanted to participate, so I put a hold in my library, and even though I was number 1 in the queue, it just never became available. So that was disappointing, and when I saw it in the charity shop, I really could not pass the opportunity to buy it. I'm not sure what this is about. I only know that there's creepy dolls, so I'll just read the description. Dunvegan School for Girls has been closed for many years. Converted into a family home, the teachers and students are long gone, but they left something behind. Sophie arrives at the old schoolhouse to spend the summer with her cousins. Brooding Cameron with his scarred hand, strange Lilias with her fear of Bones, and Piper, who seems just a bit too good to be true. And then there's her other cousin, the girl with a room full of antique dolls, the girl that shouldn't be there, the girl that died. And then right next to that one on the shelf were another 2 books, and they just looked so perfect together. I couldn't break them apart, basically, so I got the other 2 as well. So it definitely looks like they're from the same series. One of them is Dark Room by Tom Becker. This says, Darla and her dad are looking for a fresh start, but when they wind up in affluent Saffron Hills, Darla stands no chance of fitting in with the beautiful, selfie-obsessed teens at her new school. Just when she thinks things can't get any worse, she starts having visions. The gruesome snapshots flashing into Darla's mind seem to suggest she's going crazy, until she realizes they're actually a horrifying glimpse into the future. With a killer on the loose, can she make sense of what she's seeing before it's too late? This kind of reminds me of that Goosebumps book, Say Cheese and Die, but it definitely sounds fun. And the other one, which is maybe the one I'm most excited about, is Flesh and Blood by Simon Cheshire. And this says, Sam Hunter's neighbors are pillars of the community, the most influential people in town, but they're liars too. The Greenhills are hiding something, and Sam's determined to find out what it is. As his investigation unfolds, he realizes that the lies reach further than he ever imagined. Is there anyone he can trust? Uncovering the horror is one thing, escaping is another. So the synopsis doesn't really give much away, but there are some medical instruments on the cover, and I'm hoping this is going to be some kind of medical, maybe body horror, no idea, but that would be amazing. So now let's open this up. And this is actually not what I thought it was, but now that I see it, I do remember ordering it. I ordered 2 books from Hunt Publishing, which is an independent press based here in the UK. And I placed this order because I really wanted this book. It is called This Is My Body Given For You. It is by Heather Parry, and this was highly recommended by Willow from the channel Books and Bao. And she mentioned that this is very intense and very hard-hitting body horror. And as soon as I heard that, I knew I had to have it. A girl suffering a bizarre menstrual aberration is exploited by those around her, including her father. A boy expresses his love for a non-human man by making himself animalistic. A girl abandoned by her community discovers the possibility of transmutation through cannibalism. A man struggles with his wife's choices around her existence and considers whether he should leave her alone in her semi-oblivion or join her. So yeah, if that doesn't sound intense, I don't know what is. And because I was already spending money on postage, I thought I might as well throw in another book in there, and I chose Haunted Voices, an anthology of Gothic storytelling from Scotland. And this actually has a little blurb by Heather Parry, the author of this one, and she says, it's a unique and important project, essential for anyone keen to understand Scotland's spellbinding storytelling traditions and how they manifest today. So yeah, that's me. I'm keen to understand Scotland's storytelling tradition, so this will be perfect. Look at all the book mail I have today. As always, Abominable will have its own unboxing, so I will leave that for later. And let's go through all of these right now. The first parcel is from the Shelterbox Book Club, which I've mentioned before features books from countries all over the world that may be in need of financial support or need to receive certain supplies. So a large chunk of the money you pay for the subscription goes there, and there's always a leaflet inside that tells you exactly what's being sent where. This time we have Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis Benn, who is an author from Jamaica. At an opulent resort in Montego Bay, Jamaica, Margot hustles to send her younger sister, Thandi, to school. Taught as a girl to trade her sexuality for survival, Margot is ruthlessly determined to shield Thandi from the same fate. When plans for a new hotel threaten their village, each woman, fighting to balance the burdens she shoulders with the freedom she craves, must confront long-hidden scars. And it is described as dramatic and profoundly moving. The design of this cover is stunning as well. Then I have this parcel from Blackwell's, and this is actually the book that I thought I had received last time, but now I'm sure this is it. And it is Monstrillo from Mexican author Gerardo Samano Cordova. I'm so excited to read this. It has been one of my most anticipated reads of this year, but it was so hard to get this delivered to me here in the UK. I pre-ordered from my usual Hive Books, but then they cancelled my order, and then I ordered it from Amazon, but they sent it from the United States, and it was lost in transit for about 3 weeks until they gave me a refund, and I finally managed to get it sent from Blackwell's. And from what I gather, this is a book about grief and a mother and father who cannot accept that they have lost their child and the lengths they go to keep their child with them. I truly cannot explain how excited I am for this one. It is a 5-star prediction for me, so definitely stay tuned to see if that's actually the case. And these two are from Amazon, and they are for a themed reading blog, so let's see if you can guess what that's going to be. The first one is The Supernatural Enhancements by Edgar Cantero. When Ambrose Wells dies jumping out of his bedroom window in Axton House, forgetting to open it first, a distant relative with an unusual companion takes possession of the Gothic estate at Point Bless, Virginia. But as they settle into their new surroundings, excited by rumors of ghosts, suicides, and secret societies, they find themselves not just part of a mysterious game, but determined to win it. And the other one is this tiny one called The Disappearance of Tom Nero, and it is by TJ Price. This one doesn't have a description anywhere on it, so let me go get my laptop so I can read it to you. The disappearance of Tom Nero concerns a young man's investigation into the impossible disappearance of a friend. As he learns more about the circumstances and searches for answers, the re-emergence of a metatextual horror from legend puts not only him but his new lover in jeopardy. This story explores themes of contagious and invasive thoughts, disappearances, as well as the relationship between reality and the written word. It is uniquely structured with a variety of clues hidden in the text for the savvy reader. But beware, for the horror might not only affect the characters in the story, it may also affect the reader themselves. So yeah, that sounds kind of dangerous. Hello, I'm going to show you 2 more books that I got from the secondhand shop. It is the same shop I went to for the last clip, I think, where I got those 3 YA horror books, and actually I found a 4th one there, and I don't know if I missed it the first time around or if it just wasn't there, but it's from the same kind of collection. And this one is Bad Bones by Graham Marks. This one says, Gabe is feeling the pressure. His family has money troubles. He's hardly talking to his dad, plus lowlife Benny is on his case. Needing some space to think, he heads off into the hills surrounding LA, and he stumbles across a secret that will change everything, a shallow grave. Gabe doesn't think twice about taking the gold bracelet he finds buried there, even from the clutches of skeletal hands. But he has no idea what he's awakened. I think it would be fun to read all 4 of these books together in one vlog. Let me know if you'd be interested in watching that. And then I got Clive Barker's Books of Blood. This is volume 2, and this is a 1991 printing. Now, I'm not super sure that I didn't own this already. I think I only had volume 3 in these kind of covers, but it was only £2, so I thought that even if I have this one already, I could just send it to a friend. I have not been able in a very long time to find volume 1, I think because that's the most popular, so I'm still hoping to get a bit luckier in one of my book shopping excursions. And finally, I have a little book mail, and it's a book I'm really excited for. This is Nefando by Mónica Ojeda. So if you've been following the channel, you will know that I recently read Jawbone and I absolutely loved it. It's maybe my favorite book of the year so far, so I wanted to read another one by the same author. And this one I think is about a group of people that made a horror video game that is available in the dark web. And the good news is that this is currently being translated to English and it will be available to buy in October of this year. So I'm hoping I can read this before that release and I can tell you if it's worth it and if you should read it.